In this video, we are going to continue writing y equals mx plus b, or a linear equation, in slope-intercept form. But we're going to use a little bit more algebra and solving equations because we're only going to be given the slope and 1 point. Just to refresh your memory, m is the slope, b and the sign in front of it is the y-intercept, and the y and the x, we made a note earlier this year, but we haven't really talked about it a whole lot since. Y and x make an ordered pair. And you know that ordered pairs look like x, comma, y. So we're going to use these variables and what they stand for to find or to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form when we know the slope and one ordered pair. If you know the slope and one ordered pair, you could have numbers in place for y, m, and x. That means you could solve an equation for b. After you know b, then you'll have m and b, so you can just rewrite the linear equation, leaving y and x as variables, just like you're used to. And those are our steps. First, we're going to use the slope and the point x, y to plug in y, m, and x. After that, you can solve the equation for b. After you know b, then you're going to rewrite the linear equation using numbers for m and b, but leaving x and y as variables. So let's look at a couple of examples. We're going to look at a lot of examples, not just a couple. Just as a reminder, I want to write y equals mx plus b. I know that m is 4, and this is an ordered pair, and ordered pairs look like x, comma, y. So instead of writing y, I can write 10. Instead of writing m, I can write 4. I'm going to put a bubble in place of x because m and x are being multiplied. 4 and then parentheses to denote the multiplication there. Instead of x, we can write 2. And then we'll have plus b. Now this is just an equation that we can solve for b. On the left side, I have no terms to combine. On the right side, I can multiply out 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus b, and on the left side we have 10. Okay. Still no terms to combine on the left side, no terms to combine on the right side now. All of our variables are collected on one side, which means we collect all of the constants on the other side. So here's the variable. I need to get rid of the 8. That's a positive 8 because there's no sign in front of it. So to undo it, we're going to minus 8 from both sides. On the left, 10 minus 8 is 2. On the right, 8 minus 8 makes a 0 pair, which leaves us just with b, because 0 plus b is b. Now we know that 2 is equal to b. We know m, and we know b, so we can rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b, leaving y and x as letters, just like we're supposed to. So I have y equals, instead of m, we can write 4, x plus, and instead of b, I can write 2. Just to recap what we did, we plugged in 2 for x, 10 for y, 4 for the slope m. Then we solved for b, or the y-intercept. After we knew b, since we know b and m, we just rewrote the equation y equals mx plus b, replacing m and b with numbers. Again, our goal is to write y equals mx plus b. Well, I know an x value, a y value, and an m value. I'm going to put a bubble everywhere I see a letter. This bubble is in place of y, and y is -4. This bubble is in place of m, and m is 2. This bubble is in place of x, and x is 1. This bubble is in place of b, and I don't know what b is, so that's going to stay as a letter. Now this is an equation that I could solve. This is just one term on the left, so there's nothing really to do with it. On the right, I can do the multiplication 2 times 1. And that is 2. I still have the plus b equals -4 on the left. Well, here's the variable. All of my variables are already on one side, so I need to collect all of the constants on the other side. The variables are here, which means I have to move all of the constants to the left. To undo this constant 2, we subtract 2 from both sides. On the left, -4 minus 2 is -6. On the right, 2 minus 2 makes a 0 pair, and 0 plus b is just b. Now we know that b is -6, and we know that m is 2. So we can rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b as y equals 2x. Instead of plus b, we'll write -6. Looking at the next example, our goal is to write y equals mx plus b. So we're going to have to find out what b is because we already know m. m is -3. But now I need to find out what b is. So I rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to put bubbles everywhere I see a letter. This bubble is in place of y. Let's label our ordered pairs. This bubble is in place of y, and y is 5. This bubble is in place of m, and m is -3. This bubble is in place of x, and x is -2. This bubble is in place of b, and we don't know about a value for b, so we're going to leave it as the letter b. Now this is just an equation to solve. There's nothing to do with the one term on the left, but on the right, I know I can do the multiplication -3 times -2. -3 times -2 is 6. We still have plus b. And on the left side, we still have the 5. All of our variables are already on one side, so we need to collect all of the constants on the other side, which means we have to get rid of the 6. That's a positive 6, so to undo it, we'll subtract 6 from both sides. On the left, 5 minus 6 is -1. On the right, 6 minus 6 makes a 0 pair, and 0 plus b is b. Now we know that b is -1. We know m and b, which means we can write the equation y equals -3x, and instead of plus b, we'll have a -1. Our goal in this next example is to write a linear equation, y equals mx plus b. We already know that the slope is -5. To write a linear equation, though, I have to replace m and b with a number. But we have an ordered pair, x comma y, so I could fill in those spots. Let's rewrite the equation. Y equals mx plus b. Everywhere I see a letter, I'm going to replace it with a bubble. This is the ordered pair -5, 8. Ordered pairs are x comma y. This bubble is in place of y, and y is 8. This bubble is in place of m, and m is -5. This bubble is in place of x. X is -5. This bubble is in place of b, and we're trying to solve for b, so that's going to stay as a b. On the left side, we have just one term, and we can't do anything there. But on the right side, I have a multiplication that I can perform. -5 times -5 is +25. We still have the plus b. On the left, we still have the 8. All of the variables are on the right side, so I have to get all of the constants to the left side, which means I need to get rid of the constant 25. That's a +25, so to undo it, we will -25. On the left side, 8 minus 25 is -17. On the right side, 25 minus 25 is a 0 pair, and 0 plus b is b. Especially when you are starting to work with negatives, or larger numbers, or larger negatives, I really want you guys to check yourselves with your calculators. Those are great tools. I don't want that to replace your thinking. I'm very happy that lots of you are trying to do the mental math. But there's no reason to be getting adding and subtracting problems wrong in the 8th grade when you also have a calculator to check your work. So please, please, please check your work with the calculator once you're done. We know that b is -17, and we know that m is -5. Therefore, we can write the linear equation in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals, instead of m, we'll write -5, x, and then instead of plus b, we write -17. All right, let's look at some more examples. Remember that our goal is to write y equals mx plus b, and we're going to have to replace m with a number. Well, we already know m. We also have to replace b with a number, but we don't know b. The other piece of information we have is this ordered pair, which I know is x comma y. Let's rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b, because now I can fill in a y value, an m number, and a number for x, and then that'll allow us to solve for b. Everywhere you see a letter, put a pair of open parentheses, or a bubble, that's what I'm calling them. That says plus. Okay. This bubble is in place of y, and y is 0. This bubble is in place of m, and m is 1/2. This bubble is in place of x, and x is -6. This bubble is in place of b, and we don't know a value for b. We're trying to solve for it, so it'll stay a letter b. I'll split the equation down that equal sign. On the left side, I have 0, and I don't have any other terms, so I'm just going to leave it there. On the right side, I can't combine the b with the other stuff, but the other stuff will multiply together. 1/2 times -6 is -3. We still have a plus b, so I'll write that down. And we still have 0 on the left side. All of our variables are on one side, which means we need to collect all of the constants on the other side. Here's the variable, which means I need to get rid of the -3. To undo a -3, we should add 3 to both sides. On the left, 0 plus 3 is 3. On the right, -3 plus 3 makes a 0 pair, and 0 plus b is b. So we know that 3 is equal to b. Now I know a number for b, and I know a number for m, which means we can rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b as y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So using the slope and an ordered pair, we solved for b, and after we had b, we knew the y-intercept and the slope, which allows us to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form. Looking at the next example, you know our goal is to write y equals mx plus b, replacing b with a number and replacing m with a number. We already know that m is 1/3. What we don't know is b. But we also have this ordered pair, which looks like x comma y, which is this information here. Using that, I will rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b, and I'll put a bubble everywhere I see a letter. Now I can start filling in numbers in each of those bubbles. This bubble is in place of y. Y is 2. This bubble is in place of m, and m is 1/3, or 1/3. This bubble is in place of x, and x is 9. This bubble is in place of b, and we don't know what b is, we're trying to solve for it, so I'll leave it as a letter b. On the left side, I can't combine 2 with anything because it's the only term on that side. On the right side, I can multiply 1/3 times 9. 1/3 times 9 is 3. We still have a plus b. And on the left side, I'm going to drop down that 2. Now I have 2 equals 3 plus b. b is on the right side, so I need to get all of the constants to the left side, which means we're getting rid of a 3. To undo a positive 3, we'll subtract 3 from both sides. Well, 2 minus 3 is -1. On the right side, 3 minus 3 makes a 0 pair, and 0 plus b is b. Now I know a b value. We were given the slope, so I can write the slope-intercept form y equals 1/3 x minus 1 for this linear equation. Looking here at the next example, where the point is 2, 0 and the slope is -1. Our goal is to write a linear equation y equals mx plus b. But we need to replace m with a number. We know that the slope is -1. We also need to replace b with the y-intercept, which we don't know yet. What we do know is the ordered pair x, y. So I'm going to use the equation y equals mx plus b, and we're going to use everything we know to solve for b. So put a bubble everywhere you see a letter. This first bubble is in place of y, and y is 0. The next bubble is in place of m, and m is -1. The third bubble is in place of x, and x is 2. The last bubble is in place of b, and we're trying to solve for b, so that stays a letter. On the left side, 0 won't combine with anything because it's the only term there. On the left side, we have -1 times 2. -1 times 2 is -2. We still have a plus b. I'm going to bring the 0 down. Now our variable is on the right side. All of our variables are on one side, which means we need to move our constants to the other side. To move the -2 to the opposite side of b, we do the opposite thing. The opposite of -2 is +2. On the left side, 0 plus 2 is 2. And on the right side, -2 plus 2 makes a 0 pair. And 0 plus b is b. Now I know a number for b. I know the value for the slope. So I can write the equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals -x plus 2. I didn't write the 1 because there's an invisible 1 between the negative sign and the x. It's not wrong to say -1x plus 2, but it's more efficient to write -x because then you're writing less things. Looking at the last example, the next example, not the last example. Our goal is to write y equals mx plus b, where we'll replace b with a number and m with a number. We already know that m is -1/2. We don't know what b is, but we do have this ordered pair, and ordered pairs are x comma y, which happen to be these other two letters. So we're going to use all of that information to solve for b. Instead of letters, draw a bubble or some empty parentheses. This first bubble is in place of y, and y is 6. The second bubble is in place of m, and m is -1/2. The third bubble is in place of x, and x is -4. And the last bubble is in place of b, but we don't know what b is, we're solving for it, so that stays the letter. 6 won't combine with anything because it's the only term on the left side. On the right side, -1/2 times -4 is +2. You still have plus b. Drop down the 6. Now our variables are all on one side, which means we need to get the constants to the other side. We have to undo this 2. This is a +2. To undo it or move it to the opposite side, we do the opposite thing. So -2 from both sides. 6 minus 2 on the left is 4. On the right, 2 minus 2 is a 0 pair. 0 plus b is b. Now you have a b value, or a value for your y-intercept. We know the value for the slope, so we can rewrite the slope-intercept form of the equation. Y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Looking at the last two examples. Our goal is to write y equals mx plus b. And you need to replace m with a letter, or I'm sorry, a number. You already know the number for n. And you need to replace b with the y-intercept. Well, we might not know the y-intercept, but we do have an ordered pair, x, y. So let's rewrite the equation again. But everywhere we have a letter, we're going to replace with a bubble. This first bubble is in place of y, and we know that y is -2. The second bubble is in place of m, and m is -1/5. The third bubble is in place of x, and x is 0. And our last bubble is in place of b, and we're trying to solve for b, so we're going to keep that as a letter. On the left side, -2 doesn't combine with anything because it's the only term there. On the right side, we can do the multiplication, -1/5 times 0, which is 0. And we still have plus b. Drop down the -2 from the other side. Well, 0 plus b is just b. So you know that b is -2. You'll notice that that's exactly the number you have here, because the ordered pair they gave us was the ordered pair of the y-intercept. And you know that because x is 0. If you have 0 as the x value, then whatever the y value is the y-intercept, or the letter b. This trick only works if x is 0. Because on the y-intercept, the x value is always 0. Now we can rewrite the equation. Y equals, instead of m, we'll write -1/5, x, and then instead of plus b, we write -2. Looking at the very last example, my goal is to write y equals mx plus b, replacing b with the y-intercept, and replacing m with the slope. Well, you know that the ordered pair 0, 2 has to be the y-intercept because x is 0. Because x is 0, that means 2 is the y-intercept, or b equals 2. So you can rewrite the equation, y equals, instead of 1x, I'm just going to write x, and instead of plus b, I write plus 2. That was a lot of notes, so hopefully we're pretty close to being experts at this. And this is page 75, in case I didn't write that down. Page 75 in your notes. Page 76 is your homework. These questions look exactly like this. And I don't think you'll have any struggles as long as you took some good notes. However, if you do, please reach out to me via Schoology message or drop a comment on this video or send me an email. I'd be glad to help in any capacity. You just have to communicate with me.